Welcome to A Word with the Girls. I'm Molly, here with Emily and Abby, my sisters. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. Yeah, life is exciting and busy. My schedule's crazy, but that's normal, you know. I go from visiting family to going rock climbing to when I get home I go to Chicago, so I have a lot on my plate right now, but a lot of exciting things.
Yeah, I'm good. Just figuring out the new routine, 3 kiddos, homeschooling, piano, Spanish, soccer, ninja, all the things. So, but all very good, life-giving things. How about you?
Yeah, still kind of at the beginning of the school year, so trying to navigate all of that. There's something about this school year that it's just started off so intense and busy. It's hard to believe that it's just the beginning of the year. It feels like we're kind of in the middle of it. So yeah, just trying to work really hard to hold some boundaries so that it just doesn't consume my life, because it easily could.
Awesome. Well, shall we pick a word for our podcast?
Let's do it.
Okay.
So just a reminder, we generated a list of words a few months ago, and the structure of this podcast is we're just going to pick one of those words at random and see what kind of conversation and things come up based on that word. So it can kind of go anywhere. Storytelling, inside jokes, I don't know.
All right, drum roll please. Inside joke, you'll learn about it. But the word is routines.
Do we like routines?
Yes, I like structure.
I think we grew up with a lot of structure and routine as well. Like there were a lot of expectations around what we were supposed to do every day and things like that. So we grew up in a household that was pretty driven by routine and structure.
Even down to like the days of the week. Saturdays, we knew that we had like an hour and a half to watch Recess, on PBS or whatever show that was. Sundays we had church. It was like, but after cartoons we had to clean the house. It was just like we knew what the layout was for the weekend even.
That's true. Which is so funny because Molly, when we did our get to know you, one of your routines in the evening is cleaning up at night, and all I could think of, can you think of the word I'm thinking of?
Yes.
What is it?
Blitz.
Yes.
Yes.
Like our mom, every night we'd have to blitz the house to like clean it up before we went to bed. And anyways, it's just so funny that sometimes like the way we're raised, it's just like these habits are instilled in us. And I just think that that's an interesting one that you picked up because I hated the word blitz. But if you know anything about me, I like not clean or organized at all. So yeah.
I think routine is funny with kids because I think like with Millie, we were new parents and we were so rigid. And then along comes Amos and still mostly rigid because Millie was still pretty young. So 2 young kids. And now with our third, it's just like she naps when she naps. And the only thing we keep the same is bedtimes. So even just looking at routines with kids, we're a pretty routine family, but not nearly as rigid as I think we were as first-time parents and now parents of 3, even just in the matter of years, kind of changing, it is what it is. As long as everyone's fed and happy, we're good.
Yeah, I think routine helps you feel like you've got a semblance of control and order. But even, like cleaning up at the end of the day and like tidying up the house, I think there's something about a good routine that like keeps your mental health in check.
Totally.
Because when your routine is off, then like things kind of fall apart a little bit, which is okay, like, because you don't want to be too rigid either. But then you can kind of feel that in the other parts of your life. So I think routine is important for mental health and predictability and things like that.
Yeah. I feel like maybe in my mind I had an idea of like what life should look like or whatever, and then after getting married to Kevin, who's in the military, that really threw a wrench in things because there is not much of a routine, especially when he was like deploying or traveling all the time. And, you know, I like having a plan, and it would get derailed all the time, and like learning to be flexible was also important. I think my biggest routine is probably like making sure I work out every day in some form or fashion.
Wow, way to go.
Mostly because it is helpful, not only physically, but like mentally and emotionally. Like it's just like a healthy place I channel stress or anxiety or whatever I'm experiencing, and I can tell if I've not moved my body in some way.
I think the one I can usually count on daily is quiet time. Quiet time used to be like nap time for my kids, but over the years, quiet time's become my treasured time, where I know like my kids are in their room playing quietly for an hour and a half, and I can just be for a little bit until one of them needs something, I guess. That, and the other routine is, yeah, I love to take a hot shower every night before bed. It's like my time to just be with myself.
Do you go to bed with your hair wet?
No.
You dry it too?
No, I usually don't wash my hair.
Oh.
Yeah, but a hot shower at the end of the day. It's like getting all the yuck off from you from that day.
Like literally and figuratively?
Both. Yeah.
Interesting. Yes. Well, it's funny. I mean, I don't have children, but I have a dog, and I have a very special dog. And it's just so funny how even animals have routine. Like, he knows when it's time to get up. He knows when it's dinner time. Like, it's just really funny. Like, everybody thrives with routine, whether it's you know, animals or family.
Yeah, I think it also, there's certain routines that I have that help curb like anxiety. So like for my job, when I'm preparing for a meeting or like an evaluation meeting with a family, there's like preparation, like a routine that I have to go through in order to feel fully prepared for that meeting, so that I can be centered and not stressed about how it's going to go. So for me, creating routines and things like that is important for just managing anxiety and like managing perfectionism as well. So yeah, I think too, as an educator, like routine is really helpful for kids to feel safe at school, and that's usually when we tend to see a lot of behaviors, is when a routine is off, or when it's unclear, or when a kid doesn't know what's coming next. And it's funny, as the adults in their life, we tend to know all the things that are going on, and we forget to communicate that to kids in a way that's like really clear and predictable. And when we don't do that very well, it usually results in behaviors. And so, yeah, whenever I like walk into a classroom to observe, I'm always, one of the first things I'm looking for is, what's the routine for the day, and what are kids supposed to be doing? And it's kind of crazy how often it's really hard to figure that out. So that really comes to mind for me when I think of routine. How important it is for my anxiety and my performance, and then how important it is for kids too.
I mean, I feel like kind of the same vein of like, whether it's preparing to teach a fitness class, I almost will like role play it to see like, how does this flow? How does this feel? Because, you know, I really want to put out a good product. I want people, like, I want to know what I'm doing. And so, yeah, I can definitely see that. Or if I do a lot of public speaking, I do like I like host different things, and I always have to like run through it out loud. And I'm like a verbal processor anyways, but that is like what helps me feel like the most confident and prepared, because things happen and I want to be able to like, I don't know, be ready for that. So yeah, you'll find me before like a presentation or something, like in a mirror or videotaping myself, or trying to get Kevin to listen to me to, you know, practice it. Cause I think, yeah, there's just something about like, I want to feel and look, yeah, prepared.
Yeah, I think in like homeschool realm, I didn't go to school for education, so I don't know like the ins and outs of running a classroom. But I know like at home when we're getting ready to do homeschool, like the kids know the rhythm. And I say rhythm instead of routine, I guess, because like we have to be fluid. Sometimes the kids have to start on their own because I'm putting Annie down for a nap, or yeah, maybe I didn't prepare someone's lesson that day. But they know like first thing what we do. They have a layout of what they're doing, and so everything is laid out for them for what they can expect, which helps in our routine. And then they know by the time they've crossed off everything on the whiteboard that their homeschool routine is complete. And I think it helps us each see like, okay, what's expected? Have we done it? And yeah, I think it's good.
There is something very satisfying about crossing something off a list.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I just write something down just so I can cross it off. I like, Abby, what you do and what you've created. It's just like so impressive, and which I think is super cool because I don't know, like learning was not a strength of yours. It was something you struggled with in school, and so to see you step into this space of that to somebody who struggled in school will probably be like, I don't think so, but you do it so with so much like courage, and I don't know. So it's just like really cool to see you thrive, and your kids are like killing it. So that's awesome too.
Yeah, thanks.
What do you think routine looks like when we're all together as a family? Does it feel
control? Who's in control? That's the question.
I feel like we've gotten better at being flexible. I mean, I do love planning.
Right. And I've realized that I like to know what to expect. I like to be spontaneous, but like I have to know some type of plan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think, we've had to learn how to have plans in place, but also be flexible.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I think is some major growth, right? Because I think it's a little bit in our DNA to be kind of rigid. So for us to kind of let go of some of that a little bit is, I think, really helpful. But I feel like a step that we like to take when we're planning family gatherings is really making sure that everybody voices at least one thing that they feel really strongly about happening, and then kind of putting that all out on the table and figuring out how do we meet everybody's needs and who is in charge and how do we like distribute responsibility and things like that. So fortunately, though, as a family, we really love coffee in the morning, and we love, our latest passion is fika in the afternoon, which is like a Danish practice of coffee and sweets in the afternoon. And so I think there's values like that we already have and that we all collectively agree to, and so that helps kind of structure some of that a little bit. But I think it really just comes down to like communication, and especially when you're talking about a routine that multiple people are following. So
yeah, one very valuable thing I've learned in counseling has been expectation management and communicating that clearly of like, for this vacation, we want it to look like X, Y, and Z, and like being able to manage those expectations so people aren't, disappointed, or I don't know. I feel like all of the therapy has been super helpful for us to, be able to like share our truth and listen to one another too. So I think flexibility has become a strength of ours because we can just adjust on the fly and make it work.
Right. Without meltdowns.
Right. But yeah, I feel like any family time is just really, really sweet, and we truly maximize time though. Like we stuff it in as much as we can.
Which that we do.
Here's to routines.
Right. May we have the ability to have healthy routines and not cling tightly to them in a rigid, unhelpful way.
Yeah. Amen.
right. Well, talk to you guys later.
Okay, love you.
Love you more. Bye.